Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft and cut a beautiful bustier blouse with open neckline and a slit at the front. If this sounds like something you're interested to learn, please keep on watching and let's get started. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly hit on the subscribe button, turn on notification bell so you'll get notified anytime new video drops. So guys, let's dive right into today's tutorial. First, you will need to fold your pattern into two, then take the length you want for your blouse. So I want to use 24" for the blouse length. I will go ahead and spot out the 24" like I'll make a dot and I'll use my stretch ruler to connect. Okay, so this will serve as my shoulder line or starting line. From there I am going to come down by 9.5" for my bust point, 12.5" for my under bust, 15" for my waistline. Then I repeat the same thing on both sides. After making my point, I'll use my stretch ruler to connect a straight line like so. And after connecting, I'm going to go ahead now to label as my bust point, my under bust, the waistline, and full length of my blouse. Once I'm done with that, from the bust point line, I will go up by 2". Then I'm going to connect with my ruler in a straight line. This will serve as my chest line. Okay, I'll go ahead and label, and on the shoulder line I'll mark half of my shoulder circumference. I'll mark it again on the chest line. I'm going to connect the 2 points to give me my straight line using my straight ruler, and I'm going to also come down by 1" for shoulder slope. Then from that point you're going to measure what you have from there to the chest line, mark the midpoint, go in by ½ inch, and also mark quarter of your bust circumference on the chest line. Okay, so you use your curve ruler to connect the 3 dots to give you your armhole curve just like this. After doing that, I'm going to mark 3" for my neck width. Then I'm going to connect from my shoulder slope to my neck width, like I'll make a shoulder slant like so. After that, I will label as shoulder line. So I'm also going to mark half of my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5. I need to my nipple to nipple is 7". Okay, so half of it is 3.5. I'll go ahead and mark, and I'll connect a straight line. Okay, using the dots I marked. You get. After that, this is bustier. So on the waistline and under bust line, I'm going to mark ½ inch to the side going towards the center front, and 1.5" to the side going towards the shaping side. Okay, if you understand what I mean. Okay, but if you are busty, you can mark 2" instead of the 1.5, and also mark 1" instead of the ½ inch. Okay, so now that I'm done connecting, I'm going to make a curve from my bust point to my under bust. Okay, so you can already see the curve is already taking shape. All right, so just go ahead and do that. Now you're going to determine how high or low you want your neck area to be. So from the shoulder, you can see I have 7.5". Okay, so now I am going to mark 6". Like from the shoulder, I marked 6". I came down by 6". So this will serve as my new chest line. Okay, and I'm also going to extend half of my nipple to nipple point to that point. You get. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to tighten that area. So I'm going to tighten with 1" on both sides. Then I'm going to connect from that point to my bust point just like this. All right, so now that I'm done with this, next thing I want to do now is to, I'm going to get the V curve we have at the front piece. Okay, that is on the neckline. So what I did was to mark 1.5" from the center front. I marked 1.5". Okay, so when you open it up, you have like 3". So I just marked 1.5" there. So from the under bust, I will go up by 1.5". Okay, you can also go up by 2" to 2.5. It depends on how deep you want your V neckline to be. Okay, so from the chest line, I'm going to connect to my 1.5" I marked. Please let me have a few seconds of you guys' time. I need to add something really quick. So from this point where I marked 1.5" for the V neckline, from that point you're going to go up by 1" and connect to this other point where you see this arrow pointing at. Okay, make a curve so it will look like the one you have here on the picture inspiration. Just follow the direction of the arrow on that point, and also watch the one on the picture inspiration that I'm just showing you guys right now. And from the shoulder line, I came down by 2". So I'm going to connect from that point to the 2" or 2.5. So from there, I am going to use my stretch ruler to connect from the new chest line to that point. Then I'll just give a small curve, okay? So it totally depends on what you want. You can actually ignore this curve and make any curve of your choice, okay? Just ignore this curve or make any curve of your choice. For me, I made the one I want, so you can actually make yours. You get, so from the chest line, I came down by 2 inch, and from the full length of the blouse, I went in by 1 inch, or you can also go in by 3/4 of an inch. And you can see when I connected from that point to the full length, okay? So that will give you the slit effect we have at the front, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm adding my basic measurements, like my body measurement, all right? So on the full length, I marked quarter of my hip circumference. I replaced that, then add my extra 1.5 inch for normal seam allowance. So I went ahead to connect from the chest line to that point. So on the waistline, I went in by 1 inch. This is for the waist cinching, and I'm going to connect like so. All right, this is for the waist cinching. So I'm just going to connect, and I will give a little curve so that point will not be sharpened. Okay, so you can decide to add curve to the side if you want. So for me, I'll just leave it like that. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to tighten this other side. I'm going to tighten this side by 1/2 inch, okay, and I will shade that part. I will be cutting out that part. This is to avoid any form of baldness on the yoke, you get. So I want to use this pattern to cut the back pattern. So I'll just place like so, then I'll go ahead and cut through. I'll go ahead and cut from the hem part, then also cut the side, okay. I will cut like so, just what I'm doing here. So you don't basically need to start all over again drafting the back pattern. Just place your front pattern on another paper and go ahead and trace all the side. Or if you don't want to trace all the side, just go ahead and cut it out like you see me did here. And also spot the waistline area and chest line area. Then use your stretch ruler to connect the line. So I'll just go ahead and label so you don't be confused. All right, so now on the waistline, I'll mark quarter of the waist circumference, and I'll add just 1.5 inch for seam allowance. And on the chest line, I'll mark my quarter of my bust circumference, then I'll add just 1.5 inch for seam allowance. On the full length of the blouse, I'll mark quarter of my hip circumference, then add 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. Then I'm going to connect like so. All right, I'll connect like so. So for the waist cinching, I'll do the same thing I did at the front. So I marked 1 inch, like I came in by 1 inch from the waistline. Then I went ahead to connect like so. This is for the waist cinching, okay. So I'll just go ahead and make a little curve to avoid sharpness on that point. So on the neckline, I'll mark 3 inch for the neck width, okay. And I'll also measure what I have there. The wideness is about 2.5. So I'll mark the 2.5 here, and I'm going to connect from that point to my chest line just like so. Another thing I did was to mark about 3 inch for my back opening. I want a lacing bar for this, so I'll mark 3 inch. So when you open your pattern, you will have about 6 inch already removed, okay, or cut out. So I'll just connect in a straight line like so. If you don't want lacing bar, if you need zipper, then add your zipper allowance before cutting this out. So I'll also go up by 1/2 inch, then I'll shade that part just to avoid any form of bulginess, okay, on that on the yoke area, or to avoid caping on the yoke area, you get. So I'll just go ahead and cut everything out, and I'll label it as the back pattern, okay. I hope you understand. And that is where my loops will be sitting. So for the front, I'll go ahead and cut the front pattern, okay. I've finished drafting the front pattern, so I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so if you want to add a bust dart to yours, you can also go ahead and add bust dart. Bust dart is very important. Just that, to be very honest, I totally forgot to add the bust dart here. All right, so if you're cutting yours, add bust dart. If you don't know how to add bust dart, check my other videos on blouses like this. You're going to see how I add my bust dart. So just go ahead and add your bust dart, add your bust that, cut it out, then and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys.